Have you ever wondered how the most complex object in the known universe works? It's not a distant galaxy or a nebulous black hole, it's nestled right between your ears. Yes, we are talking about the human brain, a marvel of nature that is as intricate as it is mysterious. Our brain, a 3-pound mass of jelly-like substance, is the command center for the human body. It's responsible for all the things we do, the thoughts we think, the emotions we feel, and the memories we hold dear. Every laugh, every tear, every idea, every fear, everything that makes us who we are originates from this enigmatic organ. It's like an orchestra conductor coordinating a symphony of biochemical processes that enable us to navigate and interact with the world around us. When we delve into the composition of the brain, things get even more fascinating. This compact powerhouse is home to roughly 100 billion neurons. These are nerve cells that transmit information throughout the body, but that's not all. Each of these neurons can connect with up to 10,000 other neurons, forming a network of trillions of connections. To put that in perspective, that's more connections than there are stars in our Milky Way galaxy. It's a testament to the brain's complexity and capacity. This intricate network of neurons communicates incessantly, sending and receiving signals that dictate our every move, our every thought, our every feeling, from the mundane tasks like blinking and breathing to the complex processes of problem solving and creativity. It's all regulated by this extraordinary organ. The human brain is not just a biological marvel, but it's also a testament to the wonders of evolution. It's a product of millions of years of natural selection, shaped by the challenges and demands of survival. It's a testament to the incredible adaptability and resilience of life itself. The human brain, a marvel of nature, is an enigma we are only beginning to understand. As we continue to explore its depths, who knows what secrets we might uncover, what mysteries we might unravel, and what possibilities we might discover. The journey to understanding the human brain is a journey into the very essence of who we are. And that, my friends, is a journey well worth embarking on. Imagine a 3-pound mass of jelly that can control every aspect of your existence. That, my friends, is the marvel we call the human brain. Let's delve into the basic structure of this incredible organ to understand how it governs our lives. The brain can be divided into 3 main parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. Each of these sections has a unique role to play, and together they form the symphony that is our consciousness. The cerebrum, the largest part of the brain, is what we usually envision when we think about the brain. It's the wrinkly outer layer that covers most of the brain's structure. This part of the brain is responsible for all our voluntary actions and higher cognitive functions. It's where we think, learn, feel emotions, and create memories. It's also divided into 2 hemispheres, each responsible for controlling the opposite side of the body. Next we have the cerebellum. It's positioned at the back of the brain, just below the cerebrum. Though it's significantly smaller, it doesn't lack in importance. This part of the brain is our movement maestro. It helps maintain our balance, coordinates our movements, and even plays a role in our ability to learn motor skills. So, every time you dance, run, or simply pick up a glass of water, you have your cerebellum to thank. Finally, there's the brainstem. It's the bridge between the brain and the rest of the body as it connects the brain to the spinal cord. The brainstem controls many of our body's automatic functions, such as heart rate, breathing, and swallowing. It's the unsung hero of our survival, ensuring that our heart keeps beating and our lungs keep breathing without us even having to think about it. So there you have it. The basic structure of the brain: the cerebrum for thinking, the cerebellum for moving, and the brainstem for surviving. Each part of the brain has a specific and vital role to play in our daily lives. Within the brain, there exists a vast network of tiny cells known as neurons. But what are neurons, and why are they so essential? Picture a bustling city with roads connecting various destinations and cars zipping back and forth. The brain is similar, but instead of cars and roads, we have neurons and synapses. Neurons are specialized cells that transmit information throughout our brain and body, serving as the brain's communication system. Each neuron is made up of 3 key parts: the cell body, axon, and dendrites. The cell body is like the neuron's command center, while the axon and dendrites are like highways for messages. When a neuron receives a signal, it sends an electrical pulse down its axon, which then triggers the release of chemicals called neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters cross a tiny gap called a synapse, allowing the message to jump from one neuron to another. But neurons don't work alone. They form intricate networks, creating a sort of brain-wide web. Each neuron can connect with thousands of others, forming a complex and dynamic network that's constantly changing and adapting. This network is how our brain processes information, makes decisions, and reacts to the world around us. Interestingly, the strength of these connections can change. When we learn something new, the connections between neurons can strengthen, creating what we call a neural pathway. The more we use this pathway, the stronger it becomes. This is why practice makes perfect. The more we practice a skill, the stronger the neural pathway becomes, making it easier for us to perform that skill. So when you're learning to play the piano, for example, your brain is actually rewiring itself, creating and strengthening neural pathways. And when you're feeling emotions, it's because certain neural pathways are being activated. In this way, neurons are much more than just cells. They're the fundamental building blocks of our brain, the architects of our thoughts, emotions, and memories. They shape our experiences and make us who we are. Neurons, the brain's building blocks, create the network that enables us to interact with the world around us. How does this network of neurons translate into thoughts, emotions, and actions? This question takes us to the heart of the matter, the brain in action, where it processes information, makes decisions, and controls movements. Imagine being in the middle of a bustling city. Cars are zooming past, pedestrians are rushing around, lights are flashing, signals changing. This is much like how our brain operates. It's a hub of ceaseless activity, with signals racing down neural highways, carrying information to and from different parts of the brain. So, how does the brain process this information? It all starts with our senses. Our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin are constantly feeding the brain with data from our surroundings. This data is then processed by different areas of the brain, each specialized for a certain type of information. For instance, visual information is handled by the visual cortex, sounds by the auditory cortex, and so on. But it's not enough to just process information. The brain must also make decisions based on this data. This is where the frontal lobes come into play. They're like the CEO of the brain, making decisions, planning actions, and setting goals. They take the processed information and determine the best course of action. For example, if you see a ball coming towards you, your frontal lobes decide whether to catch it, dodge it, or kick it back. Finally, after the decision has been made, the brain needs to control movements to carry out the action. This is the job of the motor cortex. It sends signals to the muscles telling them when and how to move. In our ball scenario, it would instruct your hands to reach out and catch the ball, or your legs to move out of the way. What's fascinating is how seamlessly these different parts of the brain collaborate. They're like musicians in an orchestra, each playing their part, but all working together to create a harmonious performance. It's this harmony that allows us to navigate our world, interact with others, and express our thoughts and feelings. So, the brain in action is like an orchestra, with each part playing its role to create a symphony of thought and action. Did you know that your brain is always changing and adapting? It's a remarkable fact. One that underscores our brain's incredible capacity for learning and growth. This dynamic process, known as neuroplasticity, is the brain's unique ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Neuroplasticity is like the brain's superpower. It allows us to learn new skills, adapt to new environments, and even recover from brain injuries. It's the reason why you can learn to play a musical instrument in your 60s or pick up a new language in your 30s. It's why a child's brain can quickly absorb and learn new information. And it's also why we can continue to learn and grow, no matter our age. The term neuroplasticity comes from neuro, meaning nerve, and plastic, meaning moldable. Just as plastic can be shaped and molded, so too can our brains. When we learn something new, our brain changes. New connections are formed between neurons, and existing connections are strengthened or weakened, depending on how often they are used. This constant reshaping and reorganizing is what allows us to keep learning and adapting throughout our lives. Let's consider the concept of lifelong learning. It's not just about acquiring new knowledge or skills, it's about the brain's ability to continually adapt and rewire itself in response to new experiences and challenges. Lifelong learning is about embracing change, fostering curiosity, and promoting mental agility. It's about understanding that our capacity for learning doesn't diminish with age, it merely evolves. So, the next time you're faced with a new challenge or a new opportunity to learn, Remember the power of neuroplasticity. Remember that your brain is incredibly adaptable, able to reshape and rewire itself in response to new experiences. Remember that learning is not just for the young. It's a lifelong journey that we all embark on, one that our brain is perfectly equipped to handle. The brain, a lifelong learner, is constantly evolving, proving that you can indeed teach an old brain new tricks.